Hello and welcome to Inside Veganism, episode number 6. My name is Aidan Coughlin. I'm here with Victoria Pecci, and we're delighted to be joined, as you can see, by Kaylee Norris. How are you, Kaylee?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. And I know you can't see us for whatever reason, but hopefully you can hear us just fine. And that's all we really need.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So, Kaylee, I understand that you and Victoria have talked back and forth a little bit over the past few weeks and maybe a bit further back. Victoria had mentioned part of your story to me, but the gravity of the story wasn't entirely clear to me until probably 30 minutes ago. I understood that you had had a battle with cancer, and my question to Victoria not half an hour ago was, when did it go into remission? And then she told me it hasn't done.
No,
it hasn't gone into remission. You live with cancer. This isn't something that's in your past. It's something that's in your present, and it's something that is in your future. So let's unravel all of this. You live a vegan lifestyle. How does this relate to this battle you have with cancer?
Yeah, so I've been living with cancer for 6 years now, and I've been vegan for about 2 years. So it's obviously relatively quite new when I went vegan. And I can only speak from my perspective as well. Like I say, obviously I'm not an expert in this, but from my perspective, since going vegan, I felt so healthy, and I felt the healthiest that I've done in a very long time. So when I got diagnosed, I decided to start leading a healthy lifestyle. So I really cleaned up my diet, which made me feel great, but I felt like I could go a step further. And I'm quite a spiritual person, and so this might be a bit out there for some people, but I do my angel card readings, and I kept pulling out the vegetarian and vegan cards, and I was just like, oh, no way. I am a meat eater. I love my seafood. I could just never do that. But then I went pescatarian for about 6 months, and then I decided just to go vegan. And it was the best decision that I've ever made, because, I've done it for my health. I've done it for the animals. And when I cut out dairy as well, I just completely felt so much better. Like my digestion felt much easier. And I feel like that had a real impact on my health and how I feel. So, yeah, I'm living with cancer, but since going vegan, I feel so healthy, and I actually feel healthier than when I first got diagnosed. So I think that says a lot.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like the first time I met you was at one of the clubs locally where we live, and you just walked in and you were just like beaming. You were the most happiest, healthiest ball of energy in the room. And I was just like, wow, this girl has a story. There's something to be learned and talked about with you, and I just think it's so important to share your story and how you live your life, and I think we've all got so much to learn from you. So yeah, very inspirational lady, and yeah, I definitely want to learn from you. I'm so grateful that you live so close.
Oh yeah, thank you all. First of all, yeah, thank you as well for the vegan clubs. I think it's amazing to have something like this in Suffolk, like raising the awareness of, and actually what impact it can have by changing your diet. It literally can change the world. It helps the animals, it helps our health, it helps the environment. And I mean, I've never really suffered with mental health at all, but I did used to get anxiety, and actually, even though it wasn't that severe anxiety, but that's helped a lot as well. I haven't really suffered with that at all, which is amazing since I've been vegan.
That's really good.
You were diagnosed with cancer at 22, weren't you?
Yes, 21, 22, I think. Yeah, so I must have been about 21, just turning 22. So
that was roughly sort of 2010 time.
Yeah.
Wow. And there was a period in which you believed you were going to lose a limb. Is that right?
Yes. So the cancer that I have is, for sure, it's a sarcoma, but there's different types of sarcomas. But the one I have, I think my oncologist had only ever seen one or other two people in the UK that has it. So, and it doesn't, and sarcomas in general doesn't really work very well with the treatments that are out there. So like radiotherapy, chemotherapy. So they were going to amputate, but unfortunately it had spread to my lung. So I have a few tumours in my lung as well, although they're very, very small and they don't really affect me. But obviously it had gone to a different part in my body. So they decided amputation probably wasn't the best way. And I went through some radiotherapy to help with the pain. But I started to do more research myself. I think, you know, that's the best way to really go out there and learn. And I obviously found that diet played such a huge impact. And yeah, that's when I really got the ball rolling with everything, with kind of living with cancer, but making myself healthy through nutrition.
Yeah, definitely. So as well, because you do a lot of gym training, don't you? You're a real fitness buff. And because I read the article that you sent to me that you did recently, and we've added that link in our comments, which you can see. And when I was reading it, you said that you suffered quite a lot from really bad pains from everything that you're going through. And how have you ever used like veganism or diet to help combat pain, or do you still use pain relief and things like that? Especially like when you're lifting and like 2 days afterwards, the pain that you feel from lifting weights. We both suffer from that. So
yeah, those storms. I mean, I do. I can get painkillers, but I hate taking them. So I will take them on the really extreme days. So I am in pain every day, but I kind of just like learned my body to adjust to it. So at the start, it was quite difficult, but now after 6 years, I know my body, and that was a big process of knowing your body. But going to the gym is a huge part of keeping healthy, you know, keeping active, moving your body. It actually decreases the pain as well. So I get a lot less of aches and pains through that. But when I first went vegan, I did get asked that question of, oh, but you go to the gym, you lift weights, where are you going to get your protein from? That was a question that was asked a lot. I think, you know, we've all been asked that question.
We have.
But you know, you get some great vegan protein powders out there which really help with that muscle soreness and repairing the muscles. And nutrition wise, there's so much that you can get just from our food in general. So I love eating beans and pulses, so that's a big part of where I get my protein from.
Are you someone, Kaylee, that goes into the gym by yourself, or do you bring an army of warriors in there with you?
I do go by myself. I mean, I do have a couple of friends also who I love to train with. I love having someone to keep me accountable. But I haven't been able to get them on the vegan wagon yet. My other half, actually, he does eat meat, but the other day he actually sat there and he turned to me and he's like, oh, I haven't had meat for a while, actually, although he had been eating more fish, but that's something I'll work on. But he'd actually started cutting down on his meat, and he did say, he's like, I think you're getting in my head a bit. So I don't really like to sort of preach or force my opinions on people, but I do like to make people aware. So if anybody asks me questions, I'm happy to sit there and talk to them about it, about different options. And I think that's a huge part of it, is having options. Not many people know what they can replace their meat or fish intake with. So I could talk about that all day. I could happily sit there and design their meal plans for them for a week and give them some more options, because there's some incredible recipes out there, and I put a lot of them up on my blog actually.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love to share all my food and my meals, and I love experimenting. So yeah, definitely, I love to share that with them.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on imitation meats? Do you use them a lot, or do you use a lot more like whole food stuff or anything like that?
Yeah. So personally, I use a lot more whole foods.
Yeah.
I do like the Gosh range that they have out. I think they're really, really great. But I also think the imitation meat is a really, really good idea, and that's just because it is giving people more options. So you're saying, okay, well, instead of having that, why don't you try this? I mean, for health reasons, maybe I don't think they are the best, but if it helps people make that transition, you know, I think that's an amazing thing. There's something that's just come out. I think they're in Iceland. I haven't tried them yet, but the no bull burgers. Have you heard of them?
We have, yeah. We tried them the other day, didn't we?
Yeah, they're a bit too real for me, Kaylee, I have to say.
Well, I'm not opposed to trying them. I think I definitely will. But I did see a bit of a debate on there on Facebook about them, about people saying, why would you want to eat these? But actually, I see it as a good thing, although they may not be for everyone. I think myself, I'm going to give them a go, but I think they might be a little bit too real and kind of freak me out a little bit. But I think it's amazing if it helps people to make that transition. At the end of the day, that's what we want. So yeah, I think that's a great thing, giving more options out there. And I think now it's becoming easier and easier to make that transition into becoming vegan with all the options, which is brilliant.
We're not massive fans really of imitation meat, but certainly if it reduces the demand for animal products, then it's clearly a positive. And I wouldn't tell people not to try those no bull burgers, but for me, I thought I'd forgotten what meat tasted like, and then after I ate those, I thought, no, I remember what meat tastes like, and
okay.
It wasn't great.
It's like the middle of them. It seems very kind of like how raw beef is, if you want it like kind of raw. So yeah, it's very pinky and it's got that texture.
Okay, yeah, they're not sounding great then, to be honest. But they're, I think they're great for people who are definitely wanting to transition. But for me, definitely, I prefer more whole foods, and making my own like beanie burgers. Like, they taste amazing on the barbecue. So I cannot complain. Like a homemade beanie burger with some sauteed onions in a nice whole grain bun. You can't go wrong with that, and it's great and tastes amazing.
For those listening, we're here until 1:30 with Kaylee. So if you have questions for Kaylee, if you'd like to find out what protein shake, if any, Kaylee recommends, or what Kaylee's post-workout concoction might be, feel free to ask in the comment section, and we'll pass those over. What is your workout regime then? Are you a person that divides their workouts into different body parts? Do you do a mixture of cardio and cross training? What is your regimen?
Yeah, so awesome question. I think this is great for people to hear. So I am very fluid in my exercise. So I love lifting weights. They make me feel strong. They make me feel great. You get that toning and that definition. But I also understand the need to keep it interesting. So I will divide up. So at the moment, I'll go with what I'm doing at the moment. At the moment, I'm doing 3 different leg days. So I will divide it into different exercises at the moment. So I'm doing a squat and hip thrust day. And then I do a lunge day and a deadlift day, which works my legs and my back. And a lot of those compound movements work a lot of other areas in the body as well. And then I'm actually doing 2 pump sessions as well. The reason for this is because of my leg. I was trying to lift heavier and heavier, and I just realized it just really wasn't working for me. So I've decided to break it up and do them a little bit lighter and more reps. And I just feel like for myself, it's working really well at the moment, and I've really enjoyed my training again. And I think that's just what we've all got to kind of have a little play around with. It's great to change your workout up anyway, because it's good for your body to have a change, but you don't want it to go stale. You really want to enjoy it. So I say to people, if the gym's not your thing, fine, don't go to the gym. Maybe go for a walk. If you're more of a walker, get out and go for a run. But yeah, me personally, I do love doing the weights and pump as well, because that kind of an all over body weight workout, as well as getting that cardio in there as well, and getting that heart rate up and getting a bit sweaty, which is amazing.
Kaylee, obviously, because of your battle, you are seeking medical opinion, and I think you're going to London every 6 months, something like that,
yeah,
for checkups and so forth. Ashton asks a very good question, because of course this is something we're all aware of. And Ashton asks, what are your doctor's opinions on veganism? Because most doctors seem to be against it, and this may well be due to a lack of education.
Yeah. So my oncologist is absolutely incredible. I think he's really at the top of his game, and I'm so lucky that I get to go and see him. Although I haven't spoken much to him about becoming vegan and my diet, but I have said to him, you know, I live a very healthy diet. I actually feel really good at the moment. So he just told me to keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, unfortunately, I haven't spoken to him about that. But it would be really interesting to have his point of view. But I do feel that some doctors have to go with the guidelines that they have been given, unfortunately, because I think sometimes they have a lot of restrictions and a lot of worry. For example, they have to offer chemotherapy, radiotherapy, or amputation for treatments for cancer. And they can't really go down the route of offering, for example, like high dose vitamin C intravenous injections, or detoxing, just because they don't have that medical research behind it as such, which is a massive shame. And yeah, so I wish they could have a little bit more backup with the vegan diet, because for me personally, it's worked so well. And he did say, keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, I feel like that's a little bit of a nod.
Definitely. Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your blog. You've got a blog which is Living Healthy, beatingcancer.com. That's a great URL. Fantastic website address to get. So that's Living Healthy, beatingcancer.com. What kind of content have you got there? And is your content mostly geared towards fitness, or mostly geared towards what is for you a daily battle of living with cancer?
Yeah, so at the moment, actually, because it's my blog's relaunching at the end of June, which I'm really, really excited about. So there's no new content up there at the moment, but there is obviously a backlog of old content, which I'd love, obviously, if people want to go check out the recipes and stuff, they're on there. So I actually started the blog just before I went vegan. So it has changed, and it's been taken on a new direction, but it's mainly to do with health and fitness, how I am living healthy whilst living with cancer. And there's a lot of yummy recipes on there, and also a lot of mindset, because I think that they really play a big part together. You know, it's great. We need to look at what we're putting into our bodies in a nutrition level, but we also need to look into what we're putting in our bodies that are affecting our minds. So what we're listening to, what we're watching, who we surround ourselves with, and what the energies are. So I do speak a lot about mindset as well, and trying to keep everything as clean as possible to raise our vibrations. And I think that's one thing when you adopt to live in a vegan lifestyle, you really raise your vibrations, because you're not putting into the suffering that's in the world. You're not intaking into the stress hormones as well, from the animals that you're eating. Because at the end of the day, like, I don't have to say this to you guys, and probably most of the people watching, but these are loving, beautiful, living animals that deserve to live, and they don't want to die. So, and they know what's happening when they're being taken to the slaughterhouse, and it's just so heartbreaking. And yeah, I don't know how people kind of want to put that into their bodies, but I think really it's education. So what you guys doing is amazing, because I feel like you're really promoting veganism in a great light. You're showing people different options. You're not forcing any opinions, but you're just letting people see that there is another option, which is great. And that's kind of what I want to do on my blog as well, to show people, you can live a really, really healthy lifestyle, and that also includes your mind as well as what you're putting into your body and how you're moving it.
Yeah.
To those watching, thank you for tuning in. Karinda, thank you for your comment. We've managed to get this show syndicated on a live video hub elsewhere on Facebook, and Karinda has noted that he's watching it on there. So thank you for tuning in. Also, Daniel Fenn, thank you for tuning in. Also,
yeah, that's my partner.
There you go. Well, he gave a thumbs up, so I didn't know who he was in. Who was approving, but he was really approving all of us, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Not just you.
Yeah.
Got another question here. Now it comes from Zaib Ahmed. I'll just put that up on the screen for viewers to see, and it really is the perennial question. Could be a troll question, could be completely legitimate. So I'm going to treat it as completely legitimate and give the person the credit that he deserves. The question is, Kaylee, what is veganism?
Okay. Yeah, great question. So I think this is different for every single person. I feel like it's so personal to everyone. For me, it is living the most compassionate life that I can live. So I don't feel like anyone is perfect. I don't think like I'm perfect by all means. Sometimes I may make a mistake. I might buy something without realizing it's cruelty free, but I'll learn from that. And next time I won't buy it. But living the most compassionate life that I can live is what veganism means to me.
I think that's a fantastic summary. For some people, I think the assumption made is that veganism is purely about having nice glossy meals on Instagram. But of course, that to me is the least important part of it. Really, it's about, as you say, it's reducing suffering and it's showing compassion. And one thing that I'd want to be clear about is veganism is not about having zero output of harm. That is impossible. It's impossible to live your life without causing harm. But where we can reduce it, where our impact on the planet, on other species can be reduced and suffering can be assuaged, then we should make every effort to do so. Have you got any other thing you want to throw into the mix about what veganism is?
Well, I think Kaylee summarized it perfectly. And I liked exactly as well what you touched upon as well about buying certain products and things. Accidentally you can purchase things that are maybe not cruelty free or vegan, and it's not the end of the world. You haven't done it deliberately. I mean, yeah, there was an incident that happened the other day at a coffee shop. I don't know if I should say about this or not.
Well, technically, if you tell the story, we have to end the show because we're no longer, or you're no longer vegan at least.
Oh, yeah.
But it was very accidental, but it's something that can happen.
Yeah. I mean, we ordered our hot drinks from a place. And when mine arrived, I thought it tasted a bit different. It didn't taste maybe like soy milk, but I thought maybe I'm just reading into it. So I just let it slide. And then the next time we went back there, we ordered the same drinks again from the same person. And when they made it, I was watching them this time to see that they were using the correct milk. And I saw the normal rape milk being used. And I just said, oh, is this not vegan? Is this? So, yeah, I don't think my drinks had been made vegan. So I think I had one drink that contained milk. But, there's only so much you can do. You put trust in these people. You've put in the request and you're thinking. I mean, you know, for us and some other people that we meet, we regularly hear the saying that it's about planting the seed and about getting people to think more and be a bit more compassionate, think about what it is they're doing. So
yeah, definitely. And that's one thing for me. My real bugbear is actually like with the beauty industry. I don't know how they can still justify testing on animals to make a profit. I mean, and people don't realize, and this is why I would never want to pass judgment, because people just don't realize a lot of the time. I mean, I didn't before I went vegan, before I started doing my research. So it's just to really make people aware. There's some great options out there, like high-end ones, and also I love the Elf beauty range. They've got some great vegan products and some and
Where's
the skin Elf's cosmetics, and they're really good price as well. And all their like makeup brushes are vegan, which is brilliant.
Yes.
And also the obviously Superdrug range, their a lot of their products are vegan and all cruelty free. So and it's amazing, and you know, it's not that expensive in Superdrug for their own brand. So yeah, I definitely want to give them a shout out, because it's amazing. Definitely.
I've got Megan saying hello to you, Kaylee, and to do so, she has used more emojis than I know how to access.
Yeah, oh, the beautiful Meggie. I tell you, she has one beautiful soul. So yeah, she's incredible.
Excellent. Well, it's nice to get a shout out to beautiful souls while we can. Just so we don't forget to do this then, where would you recommend people seek you out on social media? We've mentioned the website, which is livinghealthybeatingcancer.com. Where else would you send people to find your work?
Definitely Instagram. I have so much on there. That's what I use, and I put a lot of my links up for my blog posts and put my meals up on there as well. But that's at Kaylee_Michelle_Norris on there. So you can find me on Instagram. It's my jam. I love it.
Yeah, Instagram, actually, I think maybe it's somewhat tongue-in-cheek, and it perhaps somewhat contradicts what I said about what veganism isn't. But there is utility in those glossy pictures of food. I think it actually has opened up a few people's minds to what veganism could be, perhaps, or a version of veganism. So it's a net positive. What type of stuff do you share on Instagram then?
So obviously I am a blogger, and I post foods posts on my blog. So unfortunately I am one of those people that share my pictures of my food. However, it's definitely not glossy. How it is on my plate is how you are going to see it. So how I'm getting it served, I take a picture and it's up there. But I also share a lot of mindset posts, a lot of health and wellness, but I really want to do it all through a very, very realistic lens. So I don't want to make out my life to be anything, you know, that it's not. I want to keep it real and very much personal from me. So yeah, I will be sharing my different foods and yummy recipes on there, which is great. I think it's a great way for people to get some good new ideas. I must say I am a huge curry lover, so I make loads of homemade curries. Indian food, I think, is amazing. It tastes incredible, and it's so easy to make it vegan. I think majority of the recipes are vegan anyway. So, but yeah, so it's all about health, wellness, and kind of how I live my life. And I just want to inspire others to be able to live their best lives as well, and really create and feel their best. So that's kind of the message that I want to put out to the world.
Yeah. Kaylee, I hate to ask this question. What are your prospects for the future with the cancer that you're dealing with at the moment?
Okay, so really, I I don't know. I feel like that's the kind of best way to answer it. I don't know. However, I feel very positive. So I go up every 6 months. I have my scans, I have my checkups just to make sure, although I do have quite a lot of it in my body. It's in my right leg, so from my toes all the way up to just above the knee, and obviously a few small tumours in my lung. So in my leg, there's a lot of it. It's in my soft tissue, it's in my bone. But they're just kind of making sure that it's staying where it is, so it's not spreading, it's not getting any worse, really. So it's just a case of living with it and finding the best way that I can live with it. And for me, that's the lifestyle that I'm doing at the moment. So.
Yeah, you're so inspirational, Kaylee. I can't say that enough, honestly. I think you're so great. I mean, it's like the energy that you have. I mean, to be living with this daily and to be so positive and upbeat, and you take every day in your stride, you do the best that you possibly can, thoughtful, compassionate, caring. Yeah. What a great, amazing person you are.
Thank you so much.
I can't, recommend whoever's watching enough, or people who catch up on this, to follow Kaylee's blog and her Instagram, because, full of great ideas and inspiration for all of us. We've all got something to learn from this wonderful young lady.
Thank you. I mean, I do have to add, if you ever speak to my mum and Daniel, they probably will tell you I can be a pain in the ass as well. But
can't we all?
Yeah, I like to think majority of the time I'm in a good, happy mood, though, because there's some incredible things in this world, and I think you've just got to start noticing the small things for them to grow into amazing things. So yeah,
keep the positivity up.
100%.
Yeah.
Well, Kaylee, on behalf of not just Victoria and I, but the entire vegan movement, thank you so much for what you're doing, and all the very best luck for the future. 100%.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys so much. And thank you for letting me come in here and share my story as well.
And I suppose this is something of a bit of a spoiler for what you're about to say, but you're not really going anywhere, because I think you'll be talking to Kaylee in a week's time.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
Yeah. So next week we've got Women's Hour next week, and Kaylee's going to be joining us again, and we're going to have Sophie and Magda as well. And we're going to be addressing loads of different issues. Feminism is definitely one of them. Health is one of them. Food is one of them. So we're just going to chat away, and it's going to be great. I can't wait to have you and the other girls on.
I'm so excited. I love it.
Yes.
Kaylee, thank you so much. We'll speak again.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Well, that was Kaylee, and as Megan Borley aptly says, she is amazing. But I won't say the other bit, because then Daniel Fenn may be angry at me if I read that bit out. So we'll leave that out. But Daniel, you're looking after a great one there. Well done to you, sir. And Kaylee, thank you so much. We'll be doing something entirely different very shortly. We're going to do something on this show that we hitherto have not attempted to do. So we're looking forward to doing that. Before we do so, we've just mentioned that Women's Hour takes place next Thursday. And you've mentioned who your guests will be. These are all guests that have been on the show before, and they're all fantastic. And Women's Hour, by definition, means that I kind of get the night off, although I actually sit out the back on a laptop doing the production. And I don't mind doing that, and let the ladies take over.
You do it very well.
Much appreciated. Before we bring on Catherine Kennard, I just want to say a little bit about the future direction of Inside Veganism. This is episode 6. And when we started, the idea was this is season 1. We weren't quite sure what we were going to do in the future. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do 8 episodes in this season. So this is number 6. Number 7 will be the aforementioned Women's Hour, and episode 8 will conclude season 1. And then I think what we want to do in the future is we'll continue to do this kind of format, but we don't think we're going to do the every Thursday night routine. We think we'll do specials instead, that might be advertised in advance, but some won't be. Some might be, we might be at an event and we feel that we've got the right person at the right time and we'll just go live. But some will be advertised in advance. One thing that I really want to do, and you think I'm crazy for doing it, is I want to do a 4-hour marathon show and speak to as many activists as I can in 4 hours. I want to go all around the world, and I want to speak to as many people as possible. I would do more than 4 hours, but Facebook kicks you off after 4 hours. So that is my plan for that. And I think we'd probably like to upload a few shorter videos of ourselves, maybe talking about how we feel about the vegan movement, perhaps some spicier content as well. I think because of the nature of this studio style show, we have to moderate, and we can't spend the entire time being adversarial with people that we have on. I mean, we would love to do debates. We would love to bring someone on who has a completely contrary opinion. Doesn't really work in the studio format because, of course, we still have to produce the show. We still have to respond to comments, and you can't simply be a host and advocatus diaboli. Those are sort of slightly contradictory elements. So we could do a debate in the future, but it wouldn't work like this. We'd do that differently.
Yeah.
So lots of exciting stuff coming up.
Yep, that's our plan.
Brilliant. Right. You think that I'm mad for doing a marathon?
No, I think it's going to be brilliant. I'm just, it's going to be a whirlwind. I'm looking forward to it.
That's definite. That's definite. What we're doing now, what's next on this show this evening?
Okay, so now we've got two very inspirational other vegans who are musicians. And I've seen Catherine approached me a few months ago and sent through a link to me to one of their songs that they have written. And it was just very, very interesting because there's not many, not that I'm aware of, many musicians, vegan musicians. And I think that their lyrics are very inspiring and they really hit at the core. And I'm looking forward to them performing that very shortly.
Okay, well, we're about to welcome them on to the show.
Hey.
Greetings. Can you hear us okay?
We can hear you. Yeah, perfectly. Can you hear us?
Yes, we can. Thank you so much for joining us. Guys, do you want to introduce yourselves, please?
Sure. I'm Catherine, and this is my husband.
I'm Dietmar.
And what would you like to know?
Well, I mean, tell us a little bit about what you do, because I understand that you offer, is it like holistic style retreats where people can get away from the madness of the big city?
Absolutely, yeah. So last year we ran our first retreat, and we combine a really cool understanding of how the mind works with yoga, with vegan food, with sound healing. And we just provide, like you say, a really amazing sort of space for people to get out of their normal rat race and come and just have some really nice chill out time. And we do our live music there.
And it's not just for vegans, as in it's for people on a vegan journey, because people decide, I'm become interested in veganism. And for a lot of people, they don't quickly snap into it. It's a process. So some of the people that came on our last retreat ended up becoming vegan, which is great. I think some people already were vegan. So it's just want
to inspire people to experience it and to realize that you can have amazing food and it doesn't have to be horrible, because I've had so many people say to us, what do you eat? You know, that's a lot of feedback that vegans get, isn't it? It's like, what do you eat? That's disgusting.
get enough protein.
Yeah, do you all the stuff, do you get enough protein, and do you feel well? There's just so much stuff. And actually to experience gourmet vegan food for 2-3 days and have it for your breakfast, your lunch and your dinner, where you actually feel nourished and you're like, wow, you can have a really small portion, but you feel alive after you've eaten rather than wanting to go to sleep. It's amazing. And that does inspire people to think actually there's more to this than meets the eye,
So when did you both become vegan, and what made you start up this retreat? Did you have a personal experience or anything or you were inspired by something to do this?
I've been vegetarian since I was how old? I think I realized when I was about 9-10, why would I want to eat an animal? Because I love them. And so I was a vegetarian for a long time. Then I got back into eating meat again. I think it was university. I was like going out, getting a bit drunk, having bacon butties in the middle of the night, and kind of went down that route for a period of time. And then over the last, I'd say 2 years, it's just been more and more and more becoming more aware of food and becoming more aware of what I'm passionate about, and just I realized last year, why am I still eating chicken? I was like, what the hell am I doing? It was just like an insight that I had. It was like, I love animals. I love them. Why would I eat you? You know, it's like it just literally became illogical for me to do it. And I have absolutely zero judgment of any other human being that does do it, actually, because I think it's a very individual and personal realization that you have to have. And I had kidded myself into thinking it was all right to carry on eating fish and chicken for a period of time. I just thought that was okay. I couldn't see it any different. And I know that's what a lot of people experience until they see something, until they wake up to something inside of themselves. So I don't know with you.
So I became vegan, first of all, probably when I was about 17. I was vegan for a couple of years. Then I got back into, then I became vegetarian, and I was vegetarian for years and years and years and years. And I think it was around the time we ran our last retreat. It was vegan food, and I was like almost vegan, not quite vegan, but almost vegan. And I just came away from that retreat, you know, like fully vegan. But it has like thrown up a lot of interesting questions for me, you know, because like I'm a homeopath, so some of the remedies I give are animal remedies, and I hadn't thought about it. I hadn't thought about it until I turned vegan. I'm thinking, oh, that's made out of a cuttlefish, or that's made out of a beetle, or something like that. So for me, it threw up a whole load of questions and made me look at things in a way that I wouldn't have even thought about.
Yeah.
It's interesting because for a long time I thought that I was almost vegan, and it wasn't until I went vegan that I realized how non-vegan I was. It is a journey, as you say, isn't it?
It's a journey, yeah. And I think that's one of the points of the retreats we run, because it's a journey. You know, if people might have a leather sofa or leather shoes, and obviously the animal's already dead. And obviously, you know, when they're fully vegan, and they can make it's little changes over time. Maybe some people can just go bam vegan, but I think for a lot of people it's all sorts of considerations and stuff. But I don't think I've ever felt so physically well. I lost a lot of weight, and it was just a bit of a no-brainer, really, for me personally.
So can you tell us a little bit about your music, and have you always written music together since you've been together, or especially like vegan-based music? If you can tell us a bit about that and your journey with that.
Yeah, we started playing together. We've been together as a couple for 8 years. They're coming up in November, and we've got 6 children between us, and they're all on different stages of like being awake, I suppose, to the vegan journey and to.
My 2 boys have been vegetarian since they were about 4 or 5. They were like, in fact, 4 or 5 forever. I brought them up as vegetarian, not vegan. I brought them up as vegetarian, and they were vegetarian all their lives, really. Anyway, sorry.
It's all right. They're your children too. Yeah, and so we started. I've had to remember that I had a voice inside of me, and that's it. That's a voice in not just in music, but a voice in terms of communicating something about the world. And I got quite quiet for a period of time, and you know, I became a mum, and Deep must help wake that back up inside of me. My passion for singing, my passion for relearning how to use my voice. So I've had some singing lessons. I've had some support with it, and last year. I remember watching one of the hideous animal videos, animal rights videos, and I was just sitting sobbing my heart out, just thinking, what else can I do? You know, what else can we do? And Dima had written a piece of music, and I thought, write something, just write something. And I wrote down the lyrics for Searching for Mum, which is the song that we'll do for you guys tonight and everybody, and it just came out, and I just suddenly realized that through the vehicle of music, rather than frightening people and scaring people, let's appeal to what I believe is at the core of human beings, the human consciousness, that human ability to love, to have compassion, to have gratitude. And if we appeal to that in people and help wake that up and speak to that part in human beings, then that means something for me. I'd been one of those people that was sharing loads and loads of vegan, scary stuff to do with animals, and people starting to literally hate me. It's like, stop sharing these horrific, and I was like, I've got to do something, I've got to help people see, and it quite naturally happened that then the music was like, use your voice, speak, sing, share it. And then the vegan, the idea of having the retreats evolved, and it's all kind of, we've had all these things that we're really passionate about and that we're trained in, and it was like, how do we bring these things together in something that we really believe in and that we're passionate about, that can help raise consciousness in some way on the planet? Because that's what I want to do. So yeah.
Well, folks, what we're going to do now is we're going to have a live concert on Inside Veganism. We've got a live song coming up, and I feel like I've made it now, because when I used to watch Jay Leno and Conan O'Brien, I knew they'd made it because they had a band. And now we have a band on our show live. It doesn't get any better than that. So the song is Searching for Mum. Is there anything more you want to say about the song before you break into it?
Yeah. I really got present to the fact that imagining being a little tiny baby that's just been born, and I've had a history, of supporting mums as a doula, and I'm passionate about mums having a non-terrifying experience when they have their babies. And I was like, imagine being that mum and being that baby, where that bond is so strong. It's so strong. That love between a mum and a baby is so strong. It's like, why on earth do we think it's okay to rip that apart and not listen to the cries of that baby and the cries of that mum longing for them to be put back together again? It just, people don't know. And if they do know, it's too scary for them. So it's like, in the song, it's like, I am imagining being that baby calf and calling for my mummy that's been taken away from me, because we need to give dairy, which is really shit for people. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear. Am I allowed to swear on live Facebook? Yeah. Okay.
We've had Nikki T on this show. I mean, if you bring Nikki T on, you're asking for it. So the bar has been set pretty high. Anything's allowed now.
No, we can't. It's like, it's illogical to me. And the song, it just, hopefully it does speak for itself if you give it that context, and I'm just like, wake up people, and see the truth of this, and see what's going on behind closed doors that you don't want to look at, because it's scary and it's horrifying. And just with small changes, we can help these animals, and we can help our own bodies. We can help our children stop feeding them dairy. It's like, it's crazy. In my mind now, it's crazy to be doing that. So yeah.
Okay, well, with that brilliant introduction done, in your own time, guys, we'd love to hear your song Searching for Mum. So this is Inside Veganism, and we're about to hear live music on the show, something that I'm very proud of, actually, that we can bring something completely different to the show.
I just turned it on.
Inside Veganism, anything can happen, folks. Anything at all.
If we do the first line, can you just tell us if it sounds all right coming through?
Maybe a little bit echoey. A little bit echoey.
Try again.
I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
It's different.
Why can't you hear me? My heart is weeping. Don't take my mother, she's mine. I watch as you drag me away, and I see her face in the distance. She's calling, calling me. She can't speak, but she feels inside. Speak, but she feels inside. One day will you wake up? One day will you see these crazy things that you're doing to me? Wake up, humans, wake up. Wake up, wake up from your dream. And then you take me inside of this monster that I'm crammed in. I'm thrown in and I'm picked by you up to I don't know where. I can't breathe, move, see. I miss my mom. I can't speak, but I feel inside. I sit in this prison that you call my own. I can know, see, it's frozen in here. I can move, see. Calling, calling my mom. She can't speak, but she feels inside. One day will you wake up? One day will you see the crazy things that you're doing to me? Wake up, humans, wake up. Wake up, wake up from your dream. Wake up.
Very good.
Wow, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, we've got some chills
I'm only
here.
laughing because it was so live. I totally forgot my lyrics.
Well, actually, Victoria was writing some of them down as you were going, particularly the lyrics which hit home.
Yeah.
You might have heard whilst we were talking to Kaylee, Catherine, that we have a women's only show on the third Thursday of each month. And for me, the link between feminism and veganism has always been so obvious. And that song for me certainly encapsulates a lot of that. One could well imagine a chorus within that song of it's not your mum, it's not your milk. And that was certainly what was occurring to me.
Yeah. Such a powerful song. I mean, like some of the lyrics I wrote down, the ones was, what day will you wake up? What day will you see humans wake up? And it's just that, isn't it? I mean, these animals don't understand. We are blatantly exploiting them, ripping them, like you said earlier, away from their mothers. And it's just madness. It's complete madness. And then you said as well, I can speak and I can feel. I can't speak, but I can feel inside. And it's just, we're just monsters, really, aren't we? What we do to animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's our job to, once you've seen something and you've seen a little bit of the light about that, it's like, it feels like, it's almost like there's no option. You just got to speak up. We've got to speak up for them. There's so many beautiful, beautiful creatures that, we've got 2 rabbits in the garden and they run free, running around. And sometimes I look at them and I'm like, I'm so glad that they get to live a life running like proper rabbits, burrowing and having a beautiful relationship together. This giant rabbit and this little tiny white rabbit. And I'm like, all animals deserve to be loved and cared and cherished. And our bodies deserve to be nourished with amazing food. That's what we were born to be, alive. And it's like I feel like we're alive, but we're dying. Do you know what I mean? And I just, it's time.
One thing that I really like about the vegan movement is the different approaches there are to pushing the message forward. Kaylee is a fantastic advocate for the vegan movement by dint of her work, the way she represents herself, the endeavors that she pursues. And yourselves, you've got this music which will really pull on the heartstrings of people and try and wake people up to make that connection between what they're drinking and where it came from. And that's wonderful. So if people want to get a hold of your music, or perhaps we've got people here that would like to book you maybe for a wedding or a function of some description, where can people find you?
Okay, so there's Kennard's Academy Facebook link, and there's also kennardsacademy.com, our website. And what else? That's it. We haven't ventured into Instagram and done the whole Twitter thing yet, but we know that's the next thing.
Well, Twitter is a sewer, so you probably want to stay away from there unless you absolutely have to. But I think Instagram is, it is. Instagram, though, is pretty much essential. I think actually officially you're not vegan unless you've got Instagram. So I'm afraid you're not vegan. Sorry to break it to you. That's how it works. Guys,
we have got it. It's just not very active. It's like it just needs to be working,
somewhere.
That the breakthrough will happen once you find the cognitive dissonance in the fact that you're not using Instagram enough. Once you've reconciled that, you'll become fully vegan, and the world will be yours. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, and also for those of you that enjoyed the song, which of course would be all of you. The link, the YouTube link to that song is available in the comment section of this video. So we'd encourage people to check that out. There's a little music video that you guys have done also, isn't there?
We wanted to, with the video, do our best not to put too many, with just a couple of images on there, just to like make people make that connection without being too horrific.
No, you've done.
Thank you so much for inviting us on. That's really fun.
Thanks for having us on.
No, it's been great. We'll have to do this again sometime. You take care, guys. And when Twitter starts to really stress me out again, as it always does, I'll have to book in a retreat with you guys. Okay.
Awesome.
Yes.
All right. You guys take care.
See you soon. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Bye. Bye.
What a show. That was show 6. Episode 6 of season 1. So next week, what have we got?
Women's Hour.
Women's Hour.
7 till 8, and it's going to be great. So all the ladies out there and gents, come along and give your comments about us women just chatting away about vegan related issues. We love your comments. It really gets the banter going, and it makes us question things ourselves. And great conversation. It's all about communication with this movement, let's keep talking.
It is indeed. And if you enjoy this, absolutely. Do share it. Do make a comment. The more people that interact in any shape or form with this content, the more people are likely to come across it. Just the way that Facebook works. Facebook is something that watches our every step. And if it sees that you like something, it will encourage your friends to like it also. And perhaps your friends aren't vegan and it will annoy them. So even the more reason to do it. So thank you so much. Victoria's back in a week with Women's Hour.
Yep.
I'll be in the back pressing the buttons. Until then, take care. And if you're vegan and you're not on Instagram, you know what you need to do. Thank you so much.